Hello everyone, my name is Clutch and welcome to Lucifer Mechanics Garage of drag, speed, and styrene customs fabrication.
Jamming those gears straight out of hell. The front wheels never touch the ground. Destroying everything that affects. Making me rich for my sins. Welcome to the Lucifers Mechanics Garage.
How's it going everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Lucifer Mechanics Garage. I just wanted to give a update on the 62 Biscayne that I've been working on. I've been working on the chassis, cut it down and everything, and been sanding the inside of the body out. Got the sides pretty smooth on the inside. As you can tell, I got it nice and uniformed. I had a few spots, some air pockets in there. As you can see, I had to fill in and straighten out and bring the thickness back. But it was pretty thick, but I got it nice and straightened out, and I got the rear wheel wells nice and curvatured around the body. So, but it turned out pretty nice. I still have to on this chassis. I'm gonna finish it up tonight. But what I got to do is I got to I'm gonna cut all this right here out, and and replace it with a plate. And then I'm cutting the rear brace off with the bumper brace and the back support here, and I'm going to extend the frame out all the way out to the end and put the bumper braces where they're supposed to be, and then like I said, fill all this in with sheet metal. There's something I'm going to do that I rarely usually do, but I'm going to use the stock suspension on this, except I'm going to make the springs and the shocks that I make, and I'm going to put a forward 9-inch underneath it. And so I'm going to be cutting the supports, the trail arms off of I'm going to cut the rear end out of the off the trail arms and replace it with a forward 9-inch, and put that in there and get it to where it actually it's got some movability to it, especially the way I make my shocks. I'm going to do a shock how-to here and the next week or so when I get ready to do the shocks for these. And I'm going to use the stock suspension on these. The 62 Impala kits, they give you two options. They give you the one with like the altered look with the front end sitting up, and then they give you the other option, so you can run it low on the ground. But I'm basically going to use the one with the where it sits up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all this right here out and make it to where they pivots. Cut all this out here and redo it all. Put drag link in. Hook it up to the steering box, and all that. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, let me get here to the chassis. Show you what I did to the chassis. In the chassis here, I was going to take pictures. I only got one picture because I get so into it that I forget to take pictures. So I took one picture, cut apart, and it'll kind of show you where I started and how I wound up here. But basically what I did was I cut this right here out and all of this, and then I went in and cut the bottom pans, like where it goes to the rear floorboard, and then that way it's more structurally sound if you cut it out like this, because you got this up here connected to this, which all this right here, all this in here is will be a good connection, as far as like stability, instead of just cutting it flat across like some people do, or but yeah, that's how I did that. And then I'm going to be adding the rear forward pan cross member bars that I cut out, and they're going to fit inside there like this. as you can see. And then I got this one. So I cut them out to reuse them, so I didn't have to make more. And they're going to fit in their side there like that right there. Of course, it's a better fit right there. Yeah. And but before I do that, I got to go in here and clean all this right here up, and sand it, and put my little concoction that I made from styrene and my liquid glue. And I make a little concoction. It's like it's like liquid plastic. And what I'll do is go in and put thin layers inside here and here and here, and places where it needs to be smoothed out, let it dry for a couple days, and then I have a good where I can go in there and sand. If you guys don't have this in your arsenal, in your toolbox, or your things of glues, you really need to do it. What you do is you take cut like bits and pieces of styrene, and you drop it down in there, and anything. I mean, you could put it down in a smaller bottle, paint bottle or whatever, and then just take some liquid glue like this, and you ain't got to add a whole bunch. You can make it thin, thick, however you want it. This right here is kind of a thin mixture I got. And I got another one brewing that over here that's a little bit thicker. I'm going to be using it instead of this. But yeah, this is pretty neat to have in your arsenal. I mean, you can glue plastic together, and it's good for filling in gaps and stuff instead of using Bondo or whatever you use, So it's real handy. And like I said, it's really good for for like putting pieces together, or using it to fill in gaps and stuff. So that's pretty cool little deal. But yeah, this right here is just going to be done here. I'm gonna finish it up tonight and get it to where I can do it and start putting it in. And then I'm going to use a stock floor pan, except I'm going to cut it back here and add up here, and I got to add a different because it's a different curvature around here from the Impala than it is the Biscayne. So I got to go in here and cut it here, and then put a new piece of sheet metal in there, and and then bring it out more and bring it down. But I'm gonna it's probably gonna be aluminum back here, and then this right here, I'm not going to use flocking on this. I mean, I know a lot of people use flocking, but to me, flocking kind of looks like kind of out of scale sometimes because it's so thick. So I don't know. I mean, I'm so used to building cars with like sheet metal interior and stuff, but I kind of wanted to make this one look like it was just somebody took a factory car and made it into a altered drag car. So I'm just gonna paint it and put like a really dull coat over top of it to bring out that texture of the carpet, and and then replace like here for the gear shifter, put like a Hurst shifter in it and stuff. So that's going to be tonight, hopefully, or the next day or so. And but yeah, that's basically it. And I want to get here and show you this new motor that I got that I'm going to be putting in it. Alright everyone, here's the motor I'm going to be putting in the 62 Biscayne altered. It's a big block 427 from Action Modelers. I got these off of eBay from a guy named Scott. He lives in Washington. He has really come up with a nice package, and under Action Modeler scale model resins. It's the big block Chevy 427 engine kit. This is like the second one that I bought off of him from eBay. I think he's got a set of heads on there now that he's got for sale. I don't know if he's doing this full time or not. The way I kind of understood it, he's just kind of doing it with his time that he's got, because he has a love for models, and so I really don't hold me up on that, what he as far as he goes. But he's on YouTube under Action Modeler. Some of you might have him on your subbed already, but if you get a chance, go over and sub him and check out what's going on. He's a good model builder, and plus he shows this motor and how he pours it and stuff. So give him a shout out and sub. But he's really went all out on this motor. as far as accuracy goes. I've got quite a few of Ross Gibson engines that I've collected over the years. 3D printed motors all the way from 1/16 scale to to 1/25. I even got a 1/32 scale motor 3D printed for a future build that I wanted to do. But I have to say, the 3D, is the most accurate you're going to get besides this motor. The only thing I don't like about them is because they got the fracture lines in them, where they print them. Excuse me. And you got to go in there and do a lot of prep work to them, and which I'm still going to use them. But as long as I can, I'm a Chevy fan, so as long as he's selling these, I'm going to be using these big blocks from him. As long as he's producing them, try to get as many as I can. But anyway, he's really went all out on these, on redoing this motor. If I'm not mistaken, so don't hold me to this, I think he used the Revell Camaro kit, big block, for the to start with. But these heads, he's totally reworked the whole heads. He's put the deck plate on the bottom, the accurate deck plate to mount it to the block. He's redid the whole intake. I mean the exhaust ports on it. He even pre-drilled the holes for the spark plugs. He's went in and he's put all the markings. He's put all the markings. Let me see if we get a focus here. Yeah, he's put all the markings. It's kind of hard to tell because it's the white resin. But all the markings on it are, for like from the factory, you can tell what compression, what year. It's got all the bunt markings to mount the, so you mount the fuel pump. I mean so you can mount the alternator and the power steering pump, or whatever setup you're using. But he's got them on both ends, pretty nice and accurate. They're hollow pour. For the mold, and he's pretty much well prepped everything. All you got to do is just assemble it, paint it, and assemble it. So, and then you can turn around and drill these holes out if you're using like R&B motion or anything like that to mount your brackets. The block is just awesome. I mean, he has went in and took all the time to make all the markings for like the valve cover. I mean, for the timing covers. He's got the outlets for the water pump. All the front markings that you usually have on a Chevy block. He's done all the correct markings for the freeze plugs and on the side that you see on the blocks, and even the back. I mean, he's done an awesome job on as far as putting everything correct in there. It's even got the dowel pin to mount your bell housing if you're running a 4-speed or a transmission. So yeah, I mean it's a correct 1/25 scale. He's got the oil pan. I mean, he's even got the brackets for the alternator and the power steering pump. What I like about it is it's got a beautiful water pump and the timing cover separate, which is a big for me. I hate putting together a motor that we're attached together because it just looks all globbed up when you look in the engine compartment. And the pulleys on these things, I mean, are just beautiful. I mean, they're correct. I mean, they're just, spent a lot of time putting this stuff together. It's a work of art. I mean, he's got all the pulleys for the, the bottom crank, the power steering, the water pump. He's even got the alternator he's put a ton of work into. That he's correctly made an alternator, Chevrolet GM alternator for it. It's got the tube that runs across, it runs to the back of the block that you run a bolt through. It's got the mounting flange that you run this bracket right here to the top. It runs to the water pump. He's even went as far as to like putting the fan, the fan and the pulley on there, so that way you get like a correct looking, setup. I mean, it's just it's a really nice deal, man. And but he's really went all out. It's got the fuel pump that's separate, which I really like. The starter is just, I mean, it's correct. It's a beautiful GM looking starter. It's got the distributor cap, the base. He's even drilled the holes out for the distributor, so that way you just easily put the spark plug wires in. It's got the water outlet, which is correct and just really beautiful, which I really like. He's even went as far as to making the oil filler plug. I mean, it goes on top of the valve covers right here. I mean, this right here is just pretty awesome, man. I mean, to come up with that. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's just so much extra detail that it's crazy. And he's got the oil filter. The exhaust manifolds are correct and look really nice. I mean, he has really spent a lot of time and accuracy on this motor, and I'm going to get 3 or 4 more to put in my stash when he comes out. Like I said, I don't know if he's doing this full time or not. You know, I've had friends, a lot of friends that pour resin. Some of them still doing it. Some of them quit early because it just consumes you when you turn it into a business. I've had plenty of opportunities to get in on it, but I always turned them down. But I've always helped them with bodies, modifying bodies or parts, you know, so that they could, you know, they could sell them, pour them in resin. But I'd rather build as to try to make money, you know, because it just consumes you, you know. But basically, I'm gonna build it all stock for the 62. Except I won't be using the exhaust manifolds. I'll be making my own headers. I'm gonna, for the headers, I'm gonna make my brackets that go across, and then I'm gonna, you know, fabricate my own headers out of 062 rosin solder. Well, silver solder, not rosin, because they leak after a while. But that's basically it. So if you get a chance, go over to Action Milers, check him out, sub him, and let him know you're interested. I don't know if he's, like I said, if he's selling these full time or if it's just part time or whatever. But if you want a good, correct motor, this is it. And by no means am I, you know, am I sponsored by him or anything. It's just that I like to give shout outs to people who really put a lot of detail into this stuff. So, but until next time. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for visiting. Another shop update here at the Lucifer Mechanics Garage. And always love your families, your pets, and be safe out there, people. Till next time.
Lucifer's Mechanics! Sunday! Everybody gather around the strip for once-in-a-lifetime drag. We have a very special race for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have Lucifer driving his full nitro funny car Camaro, ready to shred tires in competition at hellish speed. Lucifer will be holding grudge matches all night, gambling for souls. Don't fret, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing will slow down his